Hello, guys, and welcome to my Dolphins versus Bills Thursday night football prediction. I don't think there's going to be too much to talk about here, if anything, but I'd like to give my 2 cents on this game. The Bills, obviously undefeated, having beat the Ravens in a thriller week 1, handled business with the Jets very easily, and I kind of expect somewhat of the same against the Dolphins. Obviously, with the Dolphins, very fortunate that they actually get to play the Bills, when it's warm there, or considerably warm and just a pinch colder than Miami. But hey, I don't really think any team would want to play the Bills right now, if I'm being honest with you. If you're a sane team, if you're looking for a win, if you're starting the season off 0-2, probably a top 5 team that you don't want to have to play this early. And while they did play the New England tough, New England isn't the premier team of the division. And, the Bills, I think have really improved their defense. I think they've really done a good job. I think they have corners that understand the Dolphins wide receivers way too well. And that's going to make this game tough. Looking at potential injuries type of thing, the Dolphins don't really have anybody that it's like, hey, they're going to miss this guy type of thing. Maybe Melifonwu, but he's more than likely going to play, I guess. Hasn't played that well this season. The Bills, Ed Oliver, this would be a huge blow if he didn't play. But if I'm being honest with you, I wouldn't mind seeing more Deion Walker, or something like that. Deion Walker, who, they drafted this year, a big 6'7", 331-pound guy who kind of fills that huge size sort of thing with the rest of these aging dudes. I would like to see him get more playing time as the season goes on, if I'm being honest with you. But more than likely, we're going to see Ed Oliver. And Greg Rousseau and Joey Bosa, if I'm being honest, I think they're going to handle these Miami tackles very easily. Who's heard of Larry Borum? Who has heard of Patrick Paul? I literally looked at these two guys and I'm like, who? And I start to think about, Tua's safety, the pass rush, the timing and that sort of thing. And like I said before, these DBs of Buffalo, Christian Benford, who's been very, very, very good, Tre'Davious White, who is seemingly finally healthy, and on his original team, and Taron Johnson, while questionable, has always been very, very good. I think these guys know him very, very, very well. Same with Taylor Rapp and Cole Bishop. I think that, they've seen him twice a year for however many years in a row, and I think that they know how to beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they're going to have a heck of a run game, which they haven't had. Looking at Achane, he only has 85 rushing yards through 2 games. This is what I'm talking about, a dude that's as explosive as Achane. He doesn't need much to do very well, and he doesn't, and he hasn't gotten any of it. Now look at on the reverse side, Cook over here. He has had a very, very good start to the season. A lot of TDs, 3 TDs this way, some very, very good yards. And I expect him to have a very, very easy time against a Miami Dolphins team that still seemingly doesn't have much of a defense if they're going to give up a lot to the Patriots in the week prior. I don't think that it's any surprise that on PFF, it's, Buffalo's 11.5-point favorites. And then on ESPN, they're 12.5-point favorites. I don't think you can really knock anything that Buffalo is doing. Maybe they could pass, for more yards, if I'm being honest with you, instead of seeing Josh Allen run it so much. But he's one of the few guys that I'm like, I don't mind if he runs it a lot. And I mean, with that added element, in this game, I think that he's going to really just have his way with the Dolphins. With that being said, I think that's going to kind of conclude this. I don't think I need to talk about it too much more because this is a doozy of a game as everyone is looking at it. And I really don't think, unless there's some weird crazy flare up from the Dolphins, I really don't think they're going to give the Bills a run for their money. Despite the team having Waddle and Hill healthy, they traded Jonnu Smith, so it's, Waddle, Hill, and Achane. Reminds me of like the Speedy Eagles back in the day with Shady McCoy, and then into Deshaun Jackson in a way. But yeah, I don't foresee the Dolphins winning at all, and I foresee the Bills, really, continuing to add to the win column in their games, in a short week when they had an easy game against the Jets and the Dolphins had a game that was a challenge and a test for them that they failed to come through on Sunday against the Patriots. So my score and what I think the score is going to be on this game, I'm deciding to do this for this game, is I think I'm going to predict, I'm going to give the Bills, I'm going to give them 41 points. And the Dolphins, let's give them 13. I could see them somehow sneaking away with a TD. But then I see, the Bills saying, hell nah, you're not scoring on us again. So 41-13 is my score. Yeah, I'm picking it that big to be a landslide type of thing. And if you guys have any opinions or any thoughts on this game about how it may go that are different or the same, or you guys just want to poke fun at either of these two teams, feel free to have at it. Even though I couldn't understand why you would poke fun at the Bills, if I'm being honest with you. So that'll be it for this video. If you want to see my weekly reaction and breakdown of what happened with the week 2 games, that video also went live today. My next video is going to be on Friday, and it will be my picks for all the remaining games. But we'll see you guys on Friday, and as always, go Pack Go.